Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Deckin Around the Plug. Today we are really excited to have Kier Gomes and Luke Wadey on the show to talk about their Kickstarter. But before we jump into it, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
And ring the bell.
So guys, how you doing? A new Kickstarter, and not only that, but the first Kier/Luke collab.
Yes, we finally did it, Luke. I don't know if you can high five me through here. I don't know which way to go. Boom. Wait, we're doing it. There we go. Was that it?
You see how much clear Luke fan was compared to Kier?
It's too good. It's too good. But so, guys, it's been going great right now. I mean, you're already well overfunded. Within 24 hours, you had funded the deck, which I think is spectacular and by no means surprising. This is a collab that I think a lot of people have been asking to see for a while.
It's crazy, man. I think, and I don't want to speak for Luke. You know, we gotta make him talk at some point. But I think what I'm really tripping out on the most is just the other Kickstarters that came out that day. Yeah. And like you would think that would be a pretty big hindrance for everybody. You know, 3, 4, 5 big projects come out even in the same couple of days. So like, yeah, it was really nice to see that like we were able to round the troops up and get some support. And I honestly, I was like, I mean, you could ask Luke. We were the entire day just refresh. So excited.
That's the way to be on the Kickstarter campaign. You know, I think Tyler and I are pretty surprised too because we thought things were going to be pretty low. But I think January 1st, everybody got a nice little bank account addition here in the States. So yeah, they had some extra money, and they're like, oh dang, we got some more money. I can spend some money now.
It's funny. I told my wife that. I was like, you know what? I just realized, it was this morning. I was like, I just realized like I probably have a lot of people's stimulus money.
Yeah,
that's great.
Hey, that's what I did. You know, if I could, I would have just spent. I'm spending it on fake grass for my backyard, right? But if I wasn't, I would spend it on Kickstarter. So
dude,
yeah, for sure.
And so the Generation 1 playing cards, where did this whole idea come from?
Oh, I mean, you're definitely better at telling the story, though. You even sell it to me, and I'm part of it. So,
I do actually. I like to tell this story. So, Generation 1 came about as an accident. I called it in my video yesterday on my YouTube. I called it the deck that was like never supposed to happen. But what happened was I hit up Luke for a project that I wanted to do for my YouTube channel. I wanted to do like a deck of cards that was like not advertised, but themed after my YouTube channel. So with like the pink and the blue and the, so I hit up Luke and I'm like, hey, I want to see if you can put some stuff together for me. Maybe I can work on the deck and then we'll make a plan. So we start coming up with ideas for this other deck, right? Completely unrelated. And, it was going to be like a deck for my YouTube channel. We had a box. Luke did renders. We had the design. We got to the point we could have probably just put it on Kickstarter. You know, like it was pretty close to done.
Nice. Yeah.
But I, at that point, had started working on Slow Hands V2 with Nick. And that being, that's my big project. I was like, well, I'm going to see what I'm doing with this YouTube deck later. But it wasn't supposed to, it wasn't really going to be like a collab deck as in both brands. It was going to be like my deck designed by Luke, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that just didn't feel special. You know what I mean? Like it was cool. I love the design. I put some of the pictures in my video yesterday. So if you guys want to see like what it was supposed to look like, it's way different.
That down below.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. So by the time we got back to it, I think like we just weren't like all that sure if like this was the one, right?
Yeah.
Then I was like, what if we like take some of the Kier Gomes elements out of it? Like the name was KGM Playing Cards. It was just my YouTube channel name. And so, just kind of, so I was like, what if we strip that? You just take some of that out and we put more Luke in there and then we make it a you and me, type deck.
Nice.
Luke was like, well, I'm just going to redesign the whole deck then, dude. Like,
We did some options first. If you remember, we did a couple of like back designs where it was literally like, but it felt forced. I don't know how you feel. It felt like I was just trying to jam my way in.
I think it looked yeah.
Luke's a jammer.
Yeah.
It just looked like we didn't come up with it together. It looked like, like I came up with a piece and then Luke came up with a piece after. And we just were like, oh, here you go, Yeah. But then, so I don't know. You guys know Luke. He's like, well, I'm going to design this thing and that means like give me like an hour and I'm gonna have an idea. I'm gonna have some, and the only thing that I was like sure I wanted to keep was on the side of the box of what was supposed to be the KGM playing cards. I didn't want it to say first edition. I wanted it to say Generation 1 because it's got like that sound, right? It's a little bit more, 1980s like arcade, Sega type thing. Yeah. And that was the aesthetic we were going for. So I wanted it to say that. And then I was like, you know what? Why don't we call the deck Generation 1? And then, we'll work off of that. That's where the idea came from. And then there was like, this whole thing. Luke didn't want to call it Generation 1. He was like, I'm never going to call it that. I had to sell you though, Luke. I did have to,
and for a while I was like, no, we're calling it Gen 1. We're calling it Gen 1. People are going to call it Gen 1 anyway. So why do we have to call it Generation 1? But no, in fairness, I think the name works for it. I think it definitely embodies what it should be rather than Gen 1, which just sounds like we're trying to get to the point too quickly. And I'm pleased with the name now. I'm glad that you've forced it on me.
I'm glad I did too, because I was about to give it up, dude. It's close to being like I can't crack it.
Well, I think the fact too, like you mentioned, Luke, with the previous concept, it felt like you're trying to shove your way in. This deck really, I think, does accurately embody everything everyone thinks of when they think of you, Kier, and you, Luke. It's got that very much Luke Wadey design to it, but the color elements and the vibe to it really brings in your kind of vibe, Kier, that people are used to seeing on YouTube and everything. I mean, I think this deck really, it definitely has that 80s vibe. It reminds me of like, I would see someone playing with this in like the beginning of like Stranger Things or something. Like that's the kind of like definite theme that's yeah, I mean,
you know what I think of? You know what I think of? I think of somebody playing with it at a skating rink.
Yes.
At like a roller skating rink when they have like the pink things around there, the band,
they're off,
or the socks, like the 3 different colored socks, and
these are all good things to me because these are all things when Luke was making, he's like, send me some pictures that like when we were doing the design, the reference material was like really fun because like Luke was like, just send me like 3 random things. It could be anything that like explains like how you want your to be represented in the deck. And I was like, so that's what I did. It was like like not a skating rink but like an arcade at like a bowling alley in the 80s with like LEDs everywhere and neons and glow sticks, and I love stuff like that, man. I think like it's something that I think everybody kind of digs, you know what I mean? Like to some degree there's some level of it that everybody's into.
I think what's important as well about this is that if you think of like a traditional 80s, you kind of think of the sunrise and the kind of pink stripes and like that very stereotypical. Yeah, exactly. But what we wanted to do was kind of make you think about that, but without realizing it. Yeah. And then kind of still give it that kind of modern twist. So
I think, and who else could have done that, by the way? Like besides Luke, who else could do that?
I mean, Luke is a master of creating abstract visuals that have still feeling and meaning behind them. No question about it in my mind. And I think that's one of the cool things about this is if you put this out to someone who's not part of the playing card community or has never seen this deck before, and you say, what is this, like what vibe do you get off this? I definitely think that 80s, because of the coloring, the look to it, the kind of splash and everything, while still being abstract, is always going to come through there, which is so cool.
Yeah,
I think that's the like, just to nerd out a little bit, like even little things like choosing the typeface and the font, like there's certain things about like using that particular typeface, which I'm sure people will be able to comment on this video who are watching and guess it. I reckon Nisco will jump on that actually.
He'll be the first one for sure.
Yeah, but like things like that, they give you a certain emotion about what you're trying to design and the theme you're trying to set, but without overdoing it. So you don't need to create chrome effect letters and things like that, because you can use a typeface that still subconsciously makes you think that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a whole part of branding that a lot of people don't understand, and I think when you're creating something, and we've talked to Kevin Cantrell about it, when you're creating a brand, the typeface can create that emotion and bring out that, whatever feeling you're looking for, rather than, a lot of people, when you see a deck that has to do with, let's say Hindu culture or something like that, everybody uses that Sanskrit font. Like everybody just always uses that, and you don't have to use that font to get that emotion. There's more typefaces that can bring that across. So it's really cool because you definitely are a master at that for sure.
I appreciate it, boys.
I think it's the same kind of thing too, like with color, like certain colors. You don't have to like for example, the Tortoise packs, the new Slow Hands decks. Shameless plug, sorry.
That's what it's all about.
Tortoises aren't
he's trying to do 2 plugs in one. That's what it's about.
Yeah, I'm double clicking so hard right now. I'm so sorry. But tortoises aren't blue, but the deck had to be. You know what I mean? Yeah. So snails aren't red type thing. But you don't. Yeah, I think what stands out in this, especially in the box, the prototype box. It is what it is. But the amount of Luke that I see on the box is really awesome. Like the first edition that you get up here at the corner, and then like the ad copy on the back. Oh my god, I love it.
It's so literally clean. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it really is so clean. Like it looks so good.
Yeah. And I think it definitely, you look at the box, right? If you hold the box up, you look at the box, and it's like the Kier is behind the Luke, right? It's like you could see Kier all over the box, but Luke is and they're kind of intertwined. Obviously, it's definitely a Luke Wadey deck, and it's definitely a Kier deck. And
that's what that's what it's all about for us. Is kind of like it's that sense of togetherness, community. Even like overlapping the kind of the splash effect in and out of the letters and stuff. It's all about just bringing community together.
Nice.
Which I know.
I've talked about it many times. Tyler and I have talked about it on the show many times. There's nothing more. There's nothing that makes me happy more than seeing 2 people within the community collaborate. I think we need to do more of that. So it's just really cool to see, both of you guys collaborate and come out with such a creative and dope deck that definitely resembles both of you, rather than one or the other.
I appreciate that, man. It is crazy, like to think about what it could have been, what the deck could have been, had it been KGM. It's even funny because I think what had changed over when the deck started to where it got now was I think the community. Like the community, it hadn't changed, but our focuses were like, like you remember like back in the day, like you had skateboarders and rollerbladers, but they couldn't hang out.
Yeah,
blue blazers and white coats or whatever. So you got Luke, who's an expert designer, and then me, who isn't really an expert anything, but just somebody who likes to take photos of decks or whatever. And
God's sake.
but whatever, I had something to offer. Obviously, I'm not saying I had nothing to offer, but I think it was cool just to do just to see 2 sides of the community: collectors and people that love Luke stuff, and then whatever my people, whatever I was able to contribute, the people that love watching reviews or cardistry or sleight of hand. So I think it was just really, really cool to see a deck that to us, we're going to look at it and see way more than a deck. You know what I mean? I'm going to look at it and be like, man, we really wasn't it wasn't rushed. It wasn't, we have to collab because we're best friends. It was like, we actually found something worth pouring our time into. And it was so sick.
Yeah. No, and I think, you say you're not a master at anything, but I think one of the big things, and I've talked to Luke about this, I've taken pictures for, Luke's campaigns, but I'm a big fan of images, right? And if you weren't involved, there would have been no images, there would have been just renders, and that will do, renders can pass and they will do, but nothing hits like an image, so the fact that you were able, even if it is a prototype, the fact that you were able to get actual images is a million times better than just seeing renders. It makes it more personable. It shows that there's actual product already made, which shows that it's serious, and that to me is the most important thing, that you can bring, whether it's a review or whatever. That stuff's all important, but I think for people, especially on Instagram and where we're seeing all this, images are one of the most important things in the project, to me at least.
True.
And
I
you
get
get
this when I see
massive
Joe. I get like a little bit kind of taken back if I don't see like physical images. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. I like the way that the pictures came out for this deck, but
You killed it, man.
it's
You
so
killed it.
photogenic, you know. I mean,
You have to do one more picture. You're not an official Kier Gomes photos like photo collection until I see a picture of the deck on the corner of your desk.
yes, that's true. That is very true. And you know what's funny? It's so funny you say that. I have my light and my pink and my light like set up ready to go, and I have the deck here, but I have like my little section where I want to put some props and take a picture of it on the corner of the deck.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude,
But
I expect to see it today after your little grass fiasco.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely for sure. I gotta take care of the grass comes first, but
Yeah.
Maybe we'll use it. Maybe we'll use it as our little thumbnail.
So
it's funny that you mentioned that because I do like to use the corner of my desk for a lot of but it's because I like the depth. I like to create space between the floor and the product.
Well, and I think the other thing you obviously contributed to this more so than just the photos is this is an interesting touch on the fact that this is also a magician's deck. Like there are very specifically created reveals within this deck that I think go outside the normal bounds of what we would see with the Luke Wadey deck, but you being geared towards Magic, you really touched on some interesting ways to do a reveal. And I absolutely love that 7 of Diamonds reveal on the card where this is your card. Like it's so clean, still very much a typographical kind of reveal, but just fits perfect. Yeah,
thanks, dude. I love the way that card came out. I had nothing to do with that. I came up with the card, like the idea. The design was all Luke, but man, I love that gaff card so much because it's also that's a souvenir card because it looks nice. You know what I mean?
Now, can you show it
with something written on it? Like you can you keep that and it looks good.
Yeah.
Can you show it to us? Do you have it in the prototype?
I do. You guys want to see
Let's see it?
Let's check it out.
So the back is the back.
Yeah.
Right? This is what the gaff card looks like. Let me adjust my light here.
Nice.
What I can actually do is I'll blow Kier up here.
There we go. So you can see, I mean, there's the logo behind it, but it says this is your card, and then if your card is the 7 of Diamonds. So the idea for this was we've seen the trick before. There's a switch, and then the queen is actually holding a reveal, and that's in your hand or whatever. But for this one, I don't know. I like the idea of like it's like I have your name tattooed on my back, and it just says your name. Like, this is your card. This is definitely your card. And they pick it up and they're like, oh, your card. And then they're like, oh, actually, it is my card. It's like boom, boom. It hits twice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
It really is, I think, a nice touch for that magician side of things, and it really makes it a unique deck in the sense that. Yeah, it's very vibrant. It's very flashy, but at the same time, it's still a usable worker's deck, which I think is such a key part to it as well. Being obviously, someone who uses decks regularly, plays with decks regularly. For you, it's I think that's a big part of your mark on it as well. It's not just a shelf showpiece. It really is something that you can find in someone's pocket. It could be someone's everyday carry, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, that definitely is awesome. Now, I mean, obviously, we've seen the deck. We've talked a little bit about it. Can you tell us where we can get it and give us the scoop on all the details? It's up on Kickstarter right now.
Yes. So hopefully I'll give you guys the link if you need it. But hopefully it'll be
below.
It'll be in the description below and in the comments pinned just to make
Luke,
sure.
You have to do this, Luke. It'll be in the description below.
You got to two-hand it too. Yeah, there you go. So it's on Kickstarter. We've been on Kickstarter now for exactly 2.5 days.
Nice.
We are as of last check, just breaking into the upper 12s, I think. So looking good. We're 100% funded. We've unlocked some stretch goals. If whoever's watching this is interested, which I would recommend, get yourself a Generation 1 hat, get yourself a Generation 1 t-shirt. Okay, those are substantial pieces. You're going to want those pieces.
Which
do those have seals on them?
They're gilded.
I'm always interested with merch too, because I feel like that's such an interesting concept for me with playing cards, because I'm a big fan of shirts. I'm a big fan of hats. I don't regularly wear hats, but I can appreciate the art behind a hat. And I always feel like it's hit or miss. So once the campaign's done, we're definitely going to pick your brain a little bit on how the merch did, because I think it's such a, I think there's a right formula to sell merch, and hopefully you guys hit it here, because I love the merch. I love how clean it is, but how representative it is of the deck, not necessarily the brand. I think that's where sometimes you see it is like, a lot of times people merchandise for the brand just because then it's got more longevity. It can go beyond the campaign. But the idea of making it campaign specific is really a great idea, because then it has that limited aspect to it as well.
Exactly. And then when Generation 2 comes out, if you have the Generation 1 shirt, you're going to want the Generation 2 shirt. And then you get 2 shirts. And like, I love having 2 shirts. So
for Generation 2, I want to see some sneakers, man.
2 hats. Yeah. Looks
like, I don't know about that.
You know what, though? You know what you could do? You could go on Nike.com, little plug there. Nike, you want to pay us? Nike.com, and you could design your own Generation 2 sneakers just for YouTube.
That's true. You guys want to know something that I've actually never said before? And I'm sure that there's any of my people watching this that know how much I love sneakers are going to hate me for this, but I actually am exclusively wearing Pumas these days. Not wearing anything else, just Puma. Yeah. But I don't know. I might customize some generational Uno Nikes.
I have some custom Nike Dunks somewhere around the house, but at this point with COVID, I just don't wear shoes anymore. So
yeah, I shouldn't even say Puma. I should say like socks. I'm on a strictly socks thing. Yeah.
I've got to the point now with all this going on that I literally, it's like, I got to run to the store. Let me slip on some Sperry's and just walk over there, because I don't have to tie anything.
I wore my robe to an ATM.
That is
Luke, Luke, I think we're the only ones that are too distinguished to wear a robe to an or to a store or anything. Do you even have a robe, Luke?
No, I don't need one.
Do you even own pajamas, Luke?
No, I just go to bed in full Fred Perry. That's all it is.
You don't even go to bed, so don't lie. You don't sleep. That's why you don't need pajamas.
I'm just sitting here for the rest of the night. So
who sleeps in a robe? Nobody sleeps in a robe.
Character. He's just in like just the clean cut all the time. Doesn't need to sleep.
Oh my god, I love it.
I woke up like this.
Oh, this is just something I threw on.
You know what though? Better the Fred Perry than the Top Man. So you're good there, Luke.
Yeah,
I'm following Luke. I don't know what Fred Perry is or Top Man. So
Fred Perry makes actually some great polos, and I love the subtlety of the logo. Yeah, it's like the little the wreath, like the rubber.
Oh, okay, I've seen it. Yeah, I got it.
And then Top Man is a big the best way to equate them is they're a little bit more like high class looking, but they're basically like an H&M for men in the UK.
Gotcha. When's the Generation 1 polos coming out?
Yo, that would be sick.
That would be cool.
Dude, how dope would it be to have those 2 colors? Like that
like stripes on the collar or something?
Yeah, the stripes on the collar, but like the black shirt with the pink like Gen 1 logo.
You could literally take the shirt that Luke's wearing right now, swap out the logos and the stripe colors, and you'd be set.
Yeah.
I'd rock.
Maybe we can get some just for us,
Yeah, no.
It was my idea.
Us, the 4 of us.
Okay, good cover up. Yeah. Good cover up.
Obviously.
I'm like the idea guy. I throw out all these ideas.
For free, dude. If you throw it, and I'm going to take it. It's your fault for having a good idea.
We're going to have to start putting disclaimers before all of the shows and have our guests
we claim intellectual property. Right? If we do it, everybody gets a polo.
There you go.
Sweet. But what do we have anything else coming that you can share, or any more surprises with stretch goals, or anything that we can look forward to other than amazing merch and amazing decks? And you just released that half brick box, right?
Yep, just hit that one. Stickers, some swag. Luke, you want to jump in on this one?
Yeah, I think in terms of like surprises and stuff, I think it's kind of better to lay out on a Kickstarter campaign what people are expecting to find. I mean, you can obviously drop stuff mid-campaign and it might generate some interest. But I feel like because most backers are going to come on your first 24-48, they need to know, right, what are we aiming for? Yeah. What can we, so I think the big one for us is we're trying to work out a way to get the magenta foil on the tuck, like a matte tuck with magenta foil. I mean, I know there's been a couple of other decks that have used that kind of really vibrant foils recently. And it'll work for us. But I mean, the reason we didn't include it from the start is because we just want to keep the deck price down so more people can use the deck. We don't want to hike it up just because there's a foil on it and then, you know, people buy one deck. We want people to use it. So that's the big one at the moment. Me and Kier and I have got some stuff we're talking about. But I think that's the key thing now that we've unlocked the half brick box, and I think there's some other ideas that we'll use on the kind of like Gen 2 and going forward. But for now, that's what
I think that's the smartest thing. You know, I think there's a lot of ways to do a campaign. You know, and for me, having your, you know, if your goal is obviously to be a workers deck and for people to use it, then create that deck for people to use and to be a workers deck. You know, a lot of people are like, I want this to be an everyday carry, and then you see metallic ink, you see foil on it, you see gilding. It's like, come on, you know, nobody's going to use it for that. You know, so the fact that you are doing a standard tuck and you're having that stretch goal as, you know, updated ink on the tuck, you know, the foil and stuff like that, then I think that's great. And, you know, it does let people know something they can work towards if they want, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I think it's reflected in the kind of the Kickstarter tiers and the prices as they are. We don't want to be crazy. We want to make people pledge. We want to make people pledge for one or two. And I think it's very easy to turn around and put a big price tag on something, and in the hope that you sell like one at $100. Why don't you sell 100 at $1? You know, so if it's a deck about community, then why exclude people?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Exactly.
Good thoughts, man.
And so, Kier, I would guess that of all the stretch goals, your favorite so far that you've reached is the snapback for share.
Yeah, so that's my favorite add-on for sure. Yeah. So here's what went down. You know, we know who our provider is for the hats. Nice. You know, I was excited because, I mean, I take my hats pretty seriously, as I'm sure you guys know. So the quality is fantastic. It's actually the same quality as the one that I'm wearing right now. But I ordered a Generation 1 hat for myself yesterday so I can get some pictures. And then hopefully that'll inspire people to want to pick one up as well. Because as of right now, we're selling T-shirts pretty good. We're selling uncut sheets pretty good, but people they're not digging the hats as much as me. So I don't know.
They're not going out right now.
I like looking in the mirror with a nice hat on. I'll look in the mirror sometimes and be like, "Ooh, yeah, okay," you know. I don't even know what it's like anymore, boys.
Well, you know what it is, though? You're on camera, right? You're on camera. So if you're having a bad hair day, you know, Luke, you don't even know what we're talking about. But if you have a bad hair day, you just throw a hat on, right? If people aren't
can we take the time that Luke is easily the best looking out of the four of us, and he's the one that's never on camera. He's the one that doesn't.
Dude.
You know?
No, I'm not accepting that.
No. Speak for yourself. No. Luke is the best looking guy in the community. Okay, like.
He could be in like the surfing community and still be a good looking guy. You know what I mean? Like he could be in a community of good looking people.
He's getting embarrassed over here.
He could live in Miami and be good looking still. Luke is like the Chuck Norris of looks, right? He's like the Chuck Norris of looks.
I appreciate it. No.
I just like to see Luke, like, you know, loosen up a little bit. That's why I see if you start complimenting him, he cracks up a little, you know.
Dude, I'm sitting on the floor.
He goes from this to like.
You're still though. You're sitting on the floor.
I'm literally on the floor.
I'm sitting on this call though right now, which still blows my mind. It's like you're home. Relax. I'm shocked actually that Luke. I better at some point see you in a Generation 1 T-shirt. I don't think I've ever seen you in anything but a polo. So.
Nope. On it, like people ask me all the time, are you sponsored by Fred Perry? And I say I wish.
Yeah, I wish.
I reached out to them, and they were like, "We're not going to reply to you." So, you stalker.
Absolutely love it. So for anyone who hasn't backed this campaign yet, though, hopefully this gives you a little bit of an insight into not only the two brilliant minds behind it, but what else you can expect from it. Hopefully you guys go check it out. This deck is in it for the long haul. I'm excited to hear that there's also going to be a Generation 2. We got a couple teasers as to the fact that that's going to happen. I'm excited for that. But if anyone hasn't checked it out, the campaign link is going to be down below. Make sure to click it, check it out. You have about, depending on when this airs, you have anywhere from, 24 days to beyond, or to fewer. It likely will be that you should check it out though. Either way, this is going to be a phenomenal deck, and I think probably a a real contender for one of the best decks of 2021 here, guys.
Oh, thank you. Definitely my favorite so far.
Yeah, I think you crushed it. I think you absolutely crushed it. I'm excited to see what this this brain trust of Gomes and Wadey brings to the table for the rest of the year and going forward.
Yeah, good luck, guys, and thank you
awesome
for coming on.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for having us on, guys, and I appreciate the time you've given us. Appreciate kind of the plug on the deck, and obviously, I just want to say thanks to Kier for trusting me on putting some bits of stuff on some paper and printing the deck with me. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Luke. You crushed it. You absolutely crushed it. Guys, before we sign off here, anything you want to say to anyone who's maybe on the line about backing this deck?
Yes. This one is important. Like, this deck is important. To us, obviously, it's very important, but this project is gonna be bigger and bigger, I think, as it goes on. The vision of it, anyway, or the moral of the story is gonna grow bigger and bigger as the story continues. But I actually just want to say thank you to those who have already backed. If you're on the line, go check out the campaign, read the story, it's all there. But if you've already backed, or you've already read the story, whatever, speaking directly to those of you that have, thank you, because honestly, like, it blows my mind how impressed I am that this Kickstarter just on the first of the year with so much good competition, so just thank you to everybody, man. That's huge.
Thanks, guys.
A lot of emotional now. So
guys, you guys absolutely crushed it with this one. I can't wait to see how it ends up, and I really can't wait to see what this collaboration brings in the future. We're really excited for you. And again, for anyone out there who's not sure or hasn't decided yet to back this, go check it out for sure. I think there's some amazing stuff in the works here, and it's just an all-around awesome deck. The colors, clearly Kier's colors influenced a lot of it, but that is such a great look to it. The greens and the pinks really came together beautifully on it, and I think that whole abstract vibe just crushes. So for anyone watching this, go check out the campaign. If you want to, go back it. And guys, thank you so much for coming on now.
Thanks very much, guys.
We'll see you soon.
I'll get those polos in the mail for everybody, okay?
Yeah.
You will see me wearing that on a couple Deckin Around episodes for sure, because
all right,
I feel like to dress with Luke on the show. So
next time I'm going to put on a tie or something just to, like, make a point.
You're on a tux.
I did that in my Common Wig video, which was very uncomfortable.
Dude, I don't know if I fit in a tux or a suit right now, so maybe we'll have to plan that one out for later down the road,
Might have to be a jumpsuit just to accommodate the quarantine weight,
Exactly. Thank you so much to everyone who's watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and click the link in the description below to check out the Generation 1 playing cards. We appreciate each and every one of you, and Happy New Year.